Hello everybody and welcome to Storm Reads, and today, since it's December 5th, I've decided to just try to continue on with making videos every day for like I don't know what they call it, Bookmas or Blogmas or whatever it is. I'm not necessarily much of a vlogger, so videos it is, and we always do like our favorites of the year and things like that. So I've decided to go through with different genres that I like to read and pick out the runner-ups. So these are like some of the books that made it on my 4-star section. So they didn't exactly make the favorites list, even though these are still favorite series and things like that. They just didn't like make the cut for like, these are my favorite books of the year type of thing. And so for the first one, I'm going to go with Cozy Mysteries. Honestly, I didn't read as many Cozy Mysteries as I normally do this year. I did see like a little bit of a, I think I was getting a little bit of a cozy burnout. And so there are some that are on my favorites list. But these are ones that I really enjoy them. They're still like favorite series. I would still like recommend them to people, you know. I think you have like your top tier favorites and then you have your next tier favorites when it comes to like books. And so that's kind of what this is. And so I've just went through my spreadsheet and I marked ones. I was going to try to do a top 5 or whatever, but I'm never very good at sticking and narrowing down and just like, oh, these are my top 5, top 10, or whatever. You'll find that out whenever I talk about my favorites, because yeah, it's way over 10. But so I think I have like 7 here. So I'm just going to be like, these are the runner-ups and not give it a number. Because I think there's 7, but I'm not sure. And also, if it's a series where I read more than one book in the series, then I'm just going to lump that as just a series and not, you know, do each individual book or whatever. And so with that, I did read Tide and Punishment and A Call for Kelp. It's books 3 and 4 on the Seaside Cafe mystery. And so I've really enjoyed my reads in the Seaside Cafe mystery. I had goals. And my goal was to finish this series because there's only 7 books and I am on number 4. And then I just never picked up those last 3 books. And so, in like, priorities for next year, I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish this one next year. But yeah, I like this one. It's set in Charm, North Carolina. It's about Everly Swan, who has a tea cafe, and so she makes all these different kinds of teas and everything. And she's got a couple of aunts that are really kind of fun and quirky. Yeah, there's the guy that she's interested in is the sheriff. I don't know if he's the sheriff or deputy or detective, or I think he's a detective. I always get them confused from Cozy to Cozy what they are. And I can't remember what his name is at this moment. I know it starts with like a G, but I can't think of it. But anyway, yeah, I really like him. He's dealing with a lot. He has a kid, and he's dealing with his mother-in-law, because his wife had passed on. So he's still got the mother-in-law that is kind of highfalutin. And if you've read it, you know what I'm kind of talking about. She's just kind of high up there in some things, or whatever it is. So there's a lot of kind of drama with that and everything. But overall, I really like this series. And so yeah, I've given this 4 stars, I think, on each book that I have read from this series. And so yeah, it's a really solid, I really enjoy this series type of thing. So the next one I have is Wined and Died in New Orleans. This is the second book in the Vintage Cookbook series by Ellen Byron. Ellen Byron's one of my favorites, and so yeah, I really enjoyed this one. This is set in, as you can tell by the title, New Orleans, and Ricky, she's like really into vintage cookbooks and everything, and she gets a job at the Bonvie Culinary House Museum, and she has all her vintage cooking things and stuff there, and gets involved with some of the things that happen there, you know, mysteries and solving them and all that kind of good stuff. In this second one, it's like hurricane season, and yeah, there's some repairs that are needing to happen. They unearth something, and yeah, it kind of goes from there. And there is a little bit of a kind of, you find out some things about Ricky, because I believe it's been a while. I believe she is adopted, and so you find out some things about some people that she might be related to. And in this, you kind of, I think in the first one you're kind of figuring that out or whatever, but you get to know a little bit more, I think, in this one. If I'm remembering right. Because, you know, I read this one earlier in the year. But yeah, I really like this series. I super enjoy anything that Ellen Byron writes. My favorite is probably always going to be the Cajun Country Mystery series. I really like that one, but this one could probably be a close second. Her other series that she writes under the name Maria Del Rico, which the name of the series has escaped me at this moment, it's not my favorite, but I still like it. It's okay. It took a couple of books for me to really get kind of invested in the people there, but yeah, I can't wait for some more from this one. At least I hope there's going to be more from this one. I always get worried when I like something, then it's going to like drop off. The next series I have is the By the Book Mystery series. I read On Spine of Death and Murder Off the Books by Tamara Berry. And this one was a lot of fun, and I gave the first book 5 stars. Loved it. Super great. I think it was probably one of my favorite books last year. The twist at the end of that book is what really bumped it up to like 5 stars. And so I really liked On Spine of Death and Murder Off the Books, but they just didn't have that, like, you know, bam, that like twist at the end that raised them up more than just a 4-star. They're still good. And this is about Tess, and she's a writer. She writes detective novels, and I believe she inherited or something her grandfather's like cabin and hardware store, if I remember right. But anyway, she comes there to and everything, and the cabin's like really run down and everything, so she's been working on it and fixing it up, and she's fixing the hardware store up too. I think she is making it into like some kind of book thing. It's been a few days since I've read these two, but yeah, I think she was making it into like maybe a bookstore or something book related. I just can't remember exactly. But my favorite character is probably her daughter Gertrude, and poor thing being named Gertrude. But yeah, I really like the dynamics between the mother and daughter. It's a lot of fun. It's always laugh out loud. The detective in the story, who is like the love interest, and I can't remember his name. Here it is, Sheriff Boyd. Okay, see, he's a sheriff in this one, not a detective. I get them mixed up on who is what. But in this one, he kind of resembles the detective from her books, and that drives him crazy because like people like associate, you know, that and her books and things, and he, you know, just gets really aggravated whenever that's mentioned. But at the same time, I think he's a bit flattered at the same time and everything. But he tells her to like not get into things, but he knows she's going to. And I wasn't sure, like in the first book, I wasn't really sure if I would like the fact that she was given him pointers and things like that sometimes or whatever, but I had to take it as, well, she has done a lot of research and she knows a lot of things about, you know, crime and stuff because she is a crime writer. And so I didn't feel like she was trying to be smarter than the cop, but she just, you know, knows a few things because she's done a lot of research and everything. But yeah, I really like this series. I hope there's going to be more. Murder Off the Books just came out this year. It doesn't say anything about it anymore yet, so just fingers crossed that there will be. Fateful Words by Paige Shelton, which is the 8th book in the Scottish Bookshop Mystery Series. It's the latest one out. I am happy to say that there's going to be one next year called The Poison Pen, so I'm excited. Can't wait for that to come out. This one is set in Scotland. Delaney is an American that moved to Scotland to work in the Cracked Spine bookstore. She has a little bit of an ability that kind of makes it a little, I don't know if it's like, would be like more like magical realism or whatever, but like the books talk to her a little bit and things like that and stuff. It's not like too like woo-woo out there or anything. It's just got that little bit of something. And in this one, Delaney's boss, Edwin, like leaves town on some kind of secret business. But he leaves after he's invited this group of people to come and join him and explore the town and all this stuff. But he talks to these people through emails and stuff. So they're expecting to meet Edwin. And they get Delaney. And so she tries her best to do, you know, the best that she can do and everything. And, of course, then murder happens and kind of messes all the kind of stuff up and everything. But, yeah, I really like this series. The narration for the audiobook is great, too. And, yeah, definitely one I would recommend. The next one I have is Blueberry Blender by Amanda Flowers. It's the 8th book in the Amish Candy Shop series. And I love this series, but Juliet drives me crazy. But I always usually end up giving it 4 stars, but Juliet really does drive me crazy and everything. But I do like Jethro the pig, and I like all the other characters and everything. I feel like this like sentence here kind of sums it up that's written here, and it says the Amish Candy Shop Mysteries combines a fascinating look at Amish life with a sugar rush of candy making, a quirky whodunit, and a hint of romance between chocolatier Bailey King and her law enforcement boyfriend. There you go. That's what it's about pretty much. And yeah, I really like it. All the characters, they're pretty great except for Juliet. And she's Aiden's mother, and she just drives me crazy. But other than that, I really like this series. Would recommend. The next one I have is a first in series. So I wanted to read more historical mystery series, and I really didn't accomplish that as much as I wanted to this year. But yeah, alas. But this one is Murder at Mayfair Hotel by C.J. Archer, and it's the first book in the Cleopatra Fox series. It's set in 1899, and it says, after the death of her beloved grandmother, Cleopatra Fox moves into a luxurious hotel owned by her estranged uncle in the hopes of putting hardships and loneliness behind her. And there is a poisoning of a guest on Christmas Eve, and kind of throws the whole hotel into like some chaos. And Cleopatra, she's not used to this ritzy, glamorous life. That's not how she was raised. And she doesn't really know these people or know anything about them, but she doesn't really have much choice. So she's there trying to get to know them. She wants to put herself to good use. She wants to be useful, to help around the hotel, and all that kind of stuff. So when there is this poisoning, she thinks that, well, maybe I can help figure out what's going on so that her uncle doesn't have to worry about his hotel and all that stuff, because all it takes is a few bad rumors and things like that to ruin, you know, the hotel and its respectability and things like that. So she's wanting to try to help. And she clashes with the assistant manager that is there. My only problem with Cleopatra is she did jump to conclusions a few times without, I think, asking the person about things, and instead going over that person's head and saying some things when it might have been cleared up a little bit if she would have just asked. But other than that, I liked Cleopatra Fox, and I hope to continue on with the series next year. And I think there are quite a few in the series, so let me see. Yeah, there are 8 books in this series with, one coming out next year, so at least I know it's still ongoing. Okay, so the last one I have is Scaredy Cat by Sophie Ryan. It's the 10th book in the Second Chance mystery series. This one is about Sarah Grayson, who owns a secondhand store, one of those like trash to treasure type things. She's really good at finding things and fixing them up and then reselling them. She's got some good people working for her and everything. And one of the things in this series that, if you're tired of the main character always ending up with the policeman or whatever, well, have no fear. This one she ends up with is not a policeman. So I really like Mac. And at the beginning of the series, it might feel like there's going to be a love triangle, but have no fear. It does not happen. And I really like this one because it has some of my favorite characters, this older group called the Charlotte's Angels, that actually end up having a detective agency, kind of a private detective agency, where Sarah ends up getting herself involved in all that. Because, I mean, she got to keep them from getting into too much trouble, right? And her, like, really good friend is one of the cops, and his, I think it's his mother or grandmother, is one of the, I think it might be his grandmother, is one of the Charlotte's Angels. So he's got to, you know, kind of balance things out with getting frustrated because they're always into things, but wanting to make sure that they're also safe. And of course, for all the cat lovers, there is Elvis the cat and everything. So, but yeah, I am happy to say that there's going to be another one coming out next year called For Love or Money. And so yeah, so I can't wait to get to that one in next year. You can tell, I think, sometimes on some of my like really favorite like books, that series that I really like, because I am actually caught up on them, or I did read more than one in the series or whatever, because like I'm caught up on the Second Chance Cat mystery. I try to keep caught up on it if I can. Sometimes that doesn't happen with a lot of my series, or I'm trying to catch up on them because I'm a little bit late to the game. But yeah, anyway, it's all my kind of like runner-ups for, they almost made my favorites list, but not quite, but they are still some of my favorite series, and you should read them. And let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these, and are any of these your favorites as well. And maybe let me know what are some of your runner-ups for Cozy Mysteries. Maybe they don't make your absolute favorites for the year, but they were still very good. And I would like to know that down in the comments as well. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.